All right, everybody. I am joined by the one and only Jeff Pfitzer today. He is one of our guest speakers, one of the keynotes at our upcoming Locker Room Breakthrough event down in Orlando, Florida in August. He's going to be speaking on day 2, all things related to social media. So Jeff is the regional VP for USA Mortgage. He's co-founder of Drunk on Social. And when I think of social media tips, tricks, and the latest trends, he's the guy that wins my mind share, and we are so flippin' excited to have him come be one of our guests at the Orlando event for TLR Breakthrough. So, Jeff, hey man, welcome. Tell us, if you would, a little bit about yourself, what exactly you're going to be speaking on at our event.
Yeah, man. Awesome. I'm excited to be there. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited that you think of me. That means whatever I'm doing is working, and that's validating. So, and that's what I teach. So, I've spent 22 years in the mortgage business. I spent probably roughly 15 of those years struggling, what I would call struggling. We were very successful, but constantly chasing business. And when I started doing video and then implementing it with social, things started to change. And it was a several year process, but now I've gotten to the point where it's all attraction. And I've really figured out how to kind of flip it on its head, flip business on its head, in the sense that my customer now calls me and I don't call them. I chase nothing anymore. And that's a longer story for another day, but that's the premise of what we're doing. And now I lean into, I joke and say I moonlight in the mortgage business. I have 2 partners that run it. I spend most of my time speaking, coaching, teaching, creating, and learning, constantly learning about all things social. And there's a really good reason why, which leads into what we're going to talk about in Orlando.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, anybody attending this event or watching this, of course, who wouldn't want that, right? You notice what he said? He's attracting the business. He's making his phone ring versus the other way around, all through the leverage of video, and specifically video through things like social media. So give us an idea of maybe what people can expect to take away during your portion of our breakthrough event. What are some of the tangible items maybe that'll come out of that for them?
Well, I'll tell you, first, I'm going to start with the psychology behind all of this. And it's going to start a little bit with psychology, but a little bit also with what's coming. And it actually blows my mind. And I think by the time this comes, I don't even know where we're going to be. Things are happening so fast now. The world is evolving so fast, that I'm excited to know what I'm going to be talking about 6 months from now. But, really the way I lead in is the psychology behind it, which a lot of people don't think about how to use social media, and most of our industry is doing it all wrong. And I love teaching that. But I'm also going to talk about the why behind. I honestly believe that based on the technology that's coming into our world, if you don't embrace authenticity and you don't embrace these tools, you likely will go out of business. And I kid you not, robots will do your job better than you. But one thing robots can't do is be human. And that's where you have to make more of a connection with your audience. And so that's really how it starts. And then we'll get super tactical into really, honestly, the strategies that I'm using. I'll get really deep into the weeds, like what type of Instagram account you should have and why it should be connected to Facebook, and how often you should be posting and what type of posts you should be making. And, if we have time, I'll even get into some video strategies that are easy to execute, and video strategies that will kind of maybe force you or give you the excuse to be creating more content every single week.
Man, I'm sitting here saying I'm all in. Like, I want this right now. Can you just give me a private sesh right now once we're done? This is incredible. And it's so relevant to where we are as a company and where, as you pointed out, the industry is and is going. And just to kind of riff with you off topic here for a second, like, I assume you're alluding to things like Chat GPT. That's one of the big AI buzz words and items out there. What is your take on things like artificial intelligence, to your point, and how people can incorporate that in their business?
Yeah, and it's funny actually, if I can digress for just a quick second. So I started talking on these topics at the beginning of 2022. And it was funny because AI was at the top of that list at the beginning of 2022, but I really didn't know what I was alluding to when I was talking about AI. That was a year ago. And now here we are. And my prediction is that AI will be such an integrated piece of our world by the end of 2023. We will forget what life was like without it. Just like if you think back 10 or 15 years when you had a beeper and you went to a payphone to make a phone call, you think like, oh God, that was eons ago. Well, that's the thing. Things are happening so fast now. AI is going to quickly come into our world. And then we're going to be including things like VR and AR and blockchain. All of these things are going to become normal parts of our life that many of, probably most audiences, had no idea. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So as it relates to AI, I have two pieces. I have two things to say on that. Number one, it's wonderful. It's wonderful and scary at the same time. It's going to make life easier, but I also think it's going to make humans lazier. And so I think there's going to be an element to AI that you absolutely have to integrate and use it and embrace it. I also think there's going to be a human element that is going to be necessary, because I think the platforms are going to stay hip to what is computer generated versus what is human generated. And so I think there's going to be an element of use it as a baseline and then take that. Don't be lazy. And here's the reality, Jake, most of our industry is going to be lazy. Most humans are going to be lazy. They're going to take it word for word. They're going to use it as a post. They're going to use it as a blog. They're going to use it as a script. And the ones who separate themselves are the ones that take that baseline and then put their own human element into it. And I think that's who's going to win.
You heard it.
That's my prediction today. That's my prediction today. I don't know what it's going to be like a few months from now.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And I it's so fascinating to me, and I can't wait to unpack this with you there in Orlando. So one more quick question then. I'm hearing a consistent theme from you of adoption, but adopt it the right way, still sprinkling in, of course, that human element. So as far as the challenges or common obstacles that you see people, just the willingness to adopt. I still have people that, don't get on social media, or they're not willing to shoot videos and utilize YouTube and things like that. So could you just maybe speak about the problem or challenge that you're here to help people solve just on sheer adoption alone, no matter what technique or platform it is?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what the reason why a lot of people don't like social media is because we demonize it, because it is the now. And I remind, and this is just a tease to my presentation, but I remind every audience that I speak to that rewind the clock 50, 60, 70 years when we were demonizing radios, because now kids don't want to play in the yard anymore. They want to come inside and listen to the radio. And you can just move right down that progression. Every single generation or every, decade has had something that we demonize. Social media just is now. 10, 15 years from now, we're going to look back and say, oh gosh, I long for the days when it was just social media. Just like today, we're saying, gosh, I long for the days when it was just television, which we don't watch anymore. I joke, and I'm actually posting, I caught my wife doing this the other day. We turn on the television and then get on our cell phones. We don't even watch TV anymore. Like TikTok is Seinfeld. That's what the world has become now. And so back to your question, it's a matter of understanding that and embracing it, and understanding that there's a massive opportunity here, because when it was Seinfeld, you had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to be an advertisement on Seinfeld. Now you can organically show up for free every single time your consumer is sitting on the toilet, laying in bed, sitting in public transit, sitting at the office, wherever they're consuming, right? And so there's so much opportunity. And I think it's just the lens. It's the lens that how we look at it. And honestly, I think a lot of our lenses are jaded based on media. And I kind of make it my mission to change the way you look at it.
And that's so good. And just as a personal note, I understand now why you spend the time that you're going to on the psychology of it, because like you just said, it's the lens at which you see it through. You could show up in Orlando and be like everyone else who just gives you the latest and greatest tip and trick. And I'm sure you have plenty of those too. But if we don't start first in the prism that we see these tools and leverage through, it doesn't matter what the tactic is. You're going to find yourself being like most agents who are lazy, like you said.
Yeah. Or intimidated. And if I can change the way you think about it, I might be able to change the way you execute. And that's the goal.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, Jeff, man, we are so excited to have you. It's August 10th, 11th, and 12th down in super hot, I get it, Orlando, Florida. Get over it, people. We're going to be inside for this event, not outside. So they have air conditioning. But man, it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you live and in person, doing your thing, living in your element. Any last parting words for us?
No, man, I'm excited to be there. There's like I said, a lot's going to change between now and then. I guess the one thing I will say, you want to give yourself a leg up, is start changing that lens now. And you're welcome to kind of get inside my bubble. I'm easy to follow on social. I think Instagram is the best place. And I'm everywhere, but start embracing that stuff. It's only going to make it easier so that when I dump this fire at you, you're not going to walk away overwhelmed. You're going to walk away more inspired. And so that would be the best homework I can give over the next few months. Perfect.
Well, definitely make sure you guys look up Jeff all over the social media channels, start studying his game and learning his craft. Jump in the Drunk on Social community there on Facebook. Is it anywhere else? Is just on Facebook?
Everywhere. No, everywhere. Actually, Drunk on Socials, Instagram, TikTok. We have a website, drunkonsocial.com. We have an event coming up in April. We're everywhere. So you just look up Drunk on Social. YouTube is a great place. Honestly, and I'm glad you said that. YouTube, Instagram are probably the two best places to follow Drunk on Social. The group is our OG, but I would say that YouTube and Instagram are the two best places to follow Drunk on Social.
Perfect. All right. Well, we like people of action. So those of you watching this, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the things on these channels. You won't regret it. I know I am, and I get a lot of tips and tricks just by studying what Jeff and everybody's doing. So, man, thanks again. We appreciate you and looking forward to the event.
Likewise.
You got it.